No sooner does Roger Hallam get a 5-year jail sentence for blocking the M25 than all the Guardianistas rush to his defence. Well, not me. I'm Granniopteryx. I'm on YouTube, Rumble, BitChute and Minds. So this is an article in The Guardian. Just Stop Oil Jane Turns raises questions over harsh treatment of protesters. And this was written by someone called Harun Siddiq. Now, should I say something about this? There's a certain type of person in this country who doesn't seem to know the difference between protester and terrorist. And I'm not referring only to the people with that sort of name. I'm referring generally to the sort of people who inhabit the Guardian universe. The lengthy jail terms handed to 5 supporters of Just Stop Oil climate campaign on Thursday, believed to be the longest ever meted out in the UK for non-violent protest, have sent shockwaves through the protest community and beyond, as if there's a protest community. Do you remember recently how there was a report of a bunch of protesters, gays for Palestine or trans for Palestine or something, and they tried to join a pro-Palestine parade in London, and they were booted out. The Hamas people, let's face it, that's what they are. The Hamas people went straight for these guys and told them they were not welcome in no uncertain terms. There's hardly a community there, I would say, the protest community. Now, what is a protest? A protest is when a group of people get together to show everyone else that they feel very strongly about a certain situation. That does not include killing people. That does not include disrupting their lives to a dangerous degree. One of the particular Just Stop Oil protests, or at the time it might have been Extinction Rebellion, I don't know what, they stopped a road and an ambulance among the cars that were stopped was transporting a patient who'd had a stroke. Her son was there holding her hand and watched her slipping away, he said, as time dragged on and the ambulance was unable to move. Because as we all know, with something like a stroke, the first half hour is absolutely crucial. I don't know whether that woman survived. I am absolutely sure that if she has survived, it is in a far worse state than it would have been if she'd got to the hospital on time. But the Just Stop Oil people wouldn't move for her, or Extinction Rebellion, as I say, I don't remember which one it was. One morphed into the other. And here we have an example of Roger Hallam's philosophy.
In this situation, if it was not an Insulate Britain protest, but a Roger Hallam protest, in that circumstance, what would you do?
I'd stay there.
You would?
Yeah.
And if it were an ambulance and there was someone that could potentially die in there, would you stay there?
Yeah.
I want you to look at the eyes of this man. These are the cold eyes of a murderer. Not necessarily somebody who would take a knife and kill somebody, but who would stand by while somebody else did it. This is somebody who, well, you know that thing about it takes, let's say, good people do good things, bad people do bad things, but it takes religion to make a good person do bad things. And this man, I don't know whether he was good or bad, I suspect the latter. But he's got this religion. and he will do bad things for it. Now, the climate thing is a religion. It's not, it's just like any other religion. It has its holy writings, it has its leaders, it has its acolytes, it has its rituals, and also it has its myths. Because as we know, scientists are arguing about the whole climate problem. Whether it's natural or man-made, whether it's as bad as some say or not, they're arguing. There is no set science, whatever somebody like him says. But this is a religion. So any religion has its mythology, and he has his mythology as well. Now, that is not a protest anymore. That is terrorism. That's terrorism. When you disrupt an entire city, when you make it impossible for people to get to hospital, when you ruin their lives, then that's terrorism. This isn't protest. And Mr. Sadiq here has the intelligence to string a few sentences together, so he should also have the intelligence to know there's a difference. A UN expert weighed in on this as well. How many of us trust the UN anymore? Oh, yes, of course. The Labour Party does. Apparently, they're starting to give money back to Hamas. Oops, sorry, UNRWA. Yeah, I mean, the Labour Party trusts the UN like the Labour Party trusts anything that has to do with destroying countries. Not acceptable in a democracy, the UN expert says, as he condemns the lengthy Just Stop Oil sentences. Now, let's face it, Hallam might not even go to jail. And he's been given a 5-year sentence, but he won't stay there for 5 years. It would be astonishing if he stays there for 2.5 years. And considering that the Labour Party are now releasing violent criminals from prison on the grounds that prisons are now overcrowded, I wouldn't be surprised if he got a token couple of weeks and then got out. Of course, when you have a 5-year prison sentence and you're out early, it does put you under a certain amount of pressure to behave. But yeah, I don't have a lot of faith in that. Michael Forst, UN Special Rapporteur, joins growing chorus of voices in criticising jail terms handed to 5 defendants. They deserve jail sentences. They were not protesters. They are terrorists. They caused people heartache. A man couldn't get to his father's funeral. I believe there was one situation where somebody who'd had a heart attack actually died in the ambulance. These people, these happy, jolly people with their happy faces and their, echo cotton clothes, they are terrorists. And it's got nothing to do with democracy. In fact, they are specifically anti-democratic. And I think Hallam should be in jail for 5 years. I don't have many hopes that that'll happen, but we can dream, can't we? Okay, till next time. You can help my channel by clicking like, by subscribing, by clicking the notification bell, and by sharing if you're so inclined. Links to my other channels are in the description, also links to donation sites, but really the best way you can help me is simply by clicking like. Thank you.